Coming up on this episode of the Preston North End weekend warm-up, and it's been a busy year for Paul Gallagher. The players will look back on some of their highlights of 2021 and will look forward to the first game of 2022. All that and so much more on the Preston North End weekend warm-up. Hello for the very last time in 2021. Woohoo! Although maybe woohoo, getting rid of it. What's been yet another weird year. Or it could be that you're actually watching it after midnight. Not at midnight. No, you're not a gremlin, but you know what I mean. So happy new year to you. Here's looking forward to a better 2022. And that's pretty much the theme of this one, looking back and looking forward. And our big interview this week is with Paul Gallagher. So much to talk about, facing his former side Stoke City for the first match of 2022. But we'll start in terms of the chaos that COVID has caused you, me, and everybody, and how they've dealt with it down at Exton. Gally, thanks for this. Let's start off with, I suppose, how it's been over the last few weeks. That's been quite odd times again.
Yeah, it has. But new manager coming in with, as you know, you spoke to him, got a great personality, great character, very successful as a manager, which is good. I think you can see when we played the Barnsley game, the patterns the players wanted to play. And to be fair, I thought the atmosphere was great as well. And it was just great to obviously get a win. I thought wanted to kick on again, but as you said, weird times kick in. There was no games, so you want to keep that momentum when you win. You want to go to the next game, but you know, we've had a time obviously away from the training ground, obviously with the situation that has happened. But we've been back on the grass and looking forward to the next game.
So what have you been able to do?
Well, the boys were in yesterday for the first time, so yeah, we got some work into them, but you have to be careful on the first day back. So it was just obviously working with the players and sending a few in, obviously that had COVID. So it was good to be back out there and you know, get the balls out and get going again.
Just before I ask you about the match, because it is Stoke City and obviously one of your former teams, two spells with North End sort of sandwiched in between them as well. How would you sum up your time there?
I had some good, yeah. The first loan spell was excellent. That was my first ever loan spell going out from Blackburn. I did it the other way around. I managed to play obviously quite a few games for Blackburn in the Premier League before I got on loan. So usually in this day and age, it's the other way around. You go out on loan, first gain experience, come back to your parent club and play games. But for me, it was the other way around, and I really enjoyed it. And I went into a manager in Johan Boskamp who wanted to play football really, and it suited me down to the ground. And you know, he put me off to the left-hand side. Maybe I had about 12, 13 goals, something like that. The first time I was there on a season-long goal, and really, really enjoyed it. Didn't understand how big Stoke City was as a club until I got there. Obviously, I was only a young boy going there, but really enjoyed it. Then obviously the second time, I've been at Preston for the first 6 months. Enjoyed it. Alan Irvine came in, wanted to sign me, but we couldn't agree the deal. So it was near the end of the transfer window. So I ended up going back to Stoke, obviously, because I've been there previously and done really well and managed to achieve promotion, obviously, to the Premier League at the end of that season. So it was a successful period, but looking back, I probably wanted to play a bit more, but you know, I still played, I think, 10, 12 games the second half of that season. It was a bit difficult because you're going into a squad at the top of the league, and you know, it's going to be hard to get into that squad because everyone's playing well, but you know, to have any CV, a promotion to Premier League was good.
I made it 12 in 47, just for the record, goals and games wise, which wasn't bad, to be fair. But you kept coming back to North End time and time again. So what was it that the reason why you're wearing that these days, and why the reason it is so close to your heart?
Well, like I said, when Alan Irvine was in charge, I felt I was starting to play the fans were starting to see the better side of me playing. I had a real good conversation with Alan about coming back, but it couldn't happen. So in my mind, I always wanted to come back and prove people wrong because I thought I still had more in the tank to give. And sitting here now, I think the fans have seen that when I come back. You know, I had standards when I came back. I wanted to achieve things, and we got promoted to obviously the Championship. Then in the Championship, we were steady. We had some good finishes, and you know, I just wanted to come back and show what a good player I was, and hopefully that's what I've done over the years, and the fans have seen that.
I think Player of the Decade shows that you certainly did that. Just before I asked you about Stoke, the match itself, Obviously, Leicester City was part of your time as well after Blackburn Rovers. Was there any part of you? I know it didn't quite work out at Leicester City, sadly, probably as much as you would like to. Was there any part of you that regrets that?
No, I don't have any regrets really. Going to Leicester, the first few years, I had a really good time. Do you know what I mean? It was only at the end, obviously for personal reasons, and when things happen in your life, you want to move closer to home. So for the first two and a half years at Leicester, I had a great time under Nigel Pearson, Sven-Göran Eriksson. Obviously Nigel coming back. I had some really good times. I maybe played 125 games, 130 games, something like that for Leicester. So I managed to play quite a few games. But if you're looking back now, if I would have stuck at it, I probably could have been won the Premier League with them. But you never know, them chances. But no, I never have any regrets, and I knew I wanted to come back to Preston, and I spoke to obviously the people at Leicester about that. Other clubs were interested in me. I've said that to go to the Championship and carry on playing, but I wanted to come back to Preston and show everyone what I could do from the period that I've been here before.
You can take the Premier League badge off in the management side of things at North End. That sounds better, doesn't it?
Well, of course, that's the plan. As a player, I had standards. I wanted to be successful. I did that as a player. You have goals, don't you? You think, as a player, I want to get the first team. I want to achieve something. Promotions, I managed that. You always had it. I never want to be relegated. I managed to do that as a player. So, you achieve some goals, but now on the other side, you want to achieve goals of being as successful as you can as a coach, and hopefully we can do that. And the new manager coming in, he, like I said before, he's brought that winning mentality where he's been promoted. He knows what it takes to get over the line, and the players are buying into that. He's come in and he's told the players what he wants. He's told the staff what he wants, and that's great. And we're really looking forward to this, obviously, new era under the new manager.
So how are you preparing for Stoke? Because they've been something of a mixed bag recently, haven't they?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Obviously, they played last night, so I managed to watch the game and see how they did. But I thought Derby were really good. They deserved to win. So, yeah, it'll be a tough game. I thought when we played Stoke at Deepdale, they were one of the strongest teams in the division. They've got a really good squad. It'll be a tough game, but I believe in us all the time. We can go there and do well as a player. When I was here, we went to Stoke and done really well. Even as a coach last year, we won there. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Daniel Everson was the standout, wasn't he, for the game at Deepdale this season? I think we saw exactly what he's on loan from Leicester. All the good ones come from there. So, I think we saw exactly what he could do in that match, didn't we?
Yeah, he's been consistent since he's been here. He's been a big factor, and I think the fans have took to him really well. The boys have, because when someone comes through that door, and they're a top quality professional and player, you look around, you think we've got a good one here, and he's been that for us. He's been excellent, and I think everyone around Preston has seen that. And what he does do, he makes big saves at big times. He wins your points, and long may that continue. And we're lucky to have him really, because in my opinion, he's one of them keepers that he could go and play at the highest level. But hopefully it's with us, and we can keep hold of him. But like I said, everyone on that pitch knows the job now, and it's how we go and attack it.
Part 2 with Paul Gallagher coming up between now and the end of the show. He's going to reminisce on his 2021. I hope yours was okay. Some people have had good ones, some people not so much. I'm glad we're still here and we've got through it and together from half of it. Not so much what we missed in the first half of the year, didn't we? I'm sure you've missed lots of people and friends. Thank you for all the messages that you've sent through in the first half of this season. And now it's time for the players to have a look back at their 2021. Some good memories. Let's catch up with the players and how they felt. Obviously, I'm not an Exton, but let's catch up with the players who are still there.
I think my favourite memory personally is the one against, it's my goal against Hull. It was the first game with having the fans back in the stadium, and I scored after like 10 minutes or something. It was, really special to meet all of you and score in front of you like straight away. Obviously the shot didn't go our way, but that happens sometimes. And I think for the best game, the one I remember the most is the game against Luton, where I scored 2 goals, and we got a good win, and the fans were great as well.
My favourite memory of 2021 has to be probably the goal against Swansea. Playing at home and then scoring in front of the fans. Of course, get the win as well was very special for me. Also, the Liverpool game was a special moment for me this year. And then I have to say, Yeah, playing in front of the fans for the first time last season was special, but I think the best one was the Swansea goal.
My favourite moment from 2021 was scoring my first goal for Preston North End. I've been at Preston for a long time now, so it means a lot to me to finally get on the score sheet. Hopefully there's many more to come.
2021's been a great year for me. Coming down here, signing for Preston's been brilliant, and loads has happened here and I'm loving it. But my highlight for the year would probably be winning the Cup double up in Scotland for St Johnstone.
My favourite memory of this year would probably be the Bournemouth win. Just in the manner of obviously how we won, Ali's late goal, and I thought the performance on the whole was outstanding to a man, so that'd be my favourite memory of the year.
My best memory from 2021 will probably have to be my 50th goal against Sheffield United. Obviously great ball from Ryan Ledson. We've been working on that in training for a few weeks, and I was just happy that it come off in that game. Obviously brilliant goal for myself and brilliant assist from Ryan, so yeah, I'd probably say that's been the most memorable part of my season in 2021.
My best memory of 2021 would be making my 300th appearance for Preston. It was obviously a proud day for me, a massive honour for me and my family, and it just showed how far I've come as a player and a person as well, and to have so many memories along the way. But yeah, that just topped it off, and to get myself into a very prestigious group of players who have made 300 appearances for this club was fantastic for me.
Right, fair play to any of you that are going to Stoke City. The first game of 2022 should be a cracking atmosphere in the away end. More than 1,000 of you are making the journey to Stoke City. Fingers crossed we can start the new year getting off to winning ways in what is only Ryan Lowe's second game in charge at North End. So let's hope he can get up to speed as quickly as possible. We'll hear from Emil Rees, who will maybe bag the first goal for Preston North End in 2022. But let's start off with the manager and his thoughts ahead of that trip to Stoke City.
They're doing fantastically well in the league at the moment, and we've got to make sure that we look at their weaknesses and the strengths, because they are a good team. They've got some good players. And we've got to try and put a game plan together for that game on Monday. So that's why we'll be there tonight, having a look at it and see what we can take from it. But, I think it's one the lads are chomping at the bit at the moment. They've missed a little bit of football, missed a little bit of training. And I can see the eagerness in the lads' eyes, and not today, that they want to get back to business. And getting back to business is playing against these type of teams in Stoke City.
I remember the game, they were really good on the ball. They were really good passing it around and everything, so it's definitely something we need to look at, and we know that's going to happen. So yeah, hopefully we can get a result again, and yeah, I just look forward to the game.
We're under no illusion Stoke's going to be a tough test. We know that they're doing well in the league at the moment. We've got some fantastic players. We're not sitting here saying we're going to go and beat them, because that's disrespectful. What we are going to say is we're going to go there and respect them, but not fear them, because in terms of how we want to go, any back-to-back wins in any division are important. And consistency is massively important, and once we get that, we'll be a force. But you've got to respect the opposition who you're coming up against, put the game plans together for the lads to go and execute, and that's going to be the plan for the next few days.
Yeah, well, he said to me the first day he wanted me to score a lot of goals, so that's definitely something you want to hear as a striker. So yeah, and going forward and everything, it's definitely nice to have a manager that comes in and want to play offensively football. And yeah, I suppose for the fans as well, that's something they want to see as well.
Right, if you haven't got your ticket for Stoke City yet, and we know there are more than 1,000 going, but sales have now stopped. Sorry about that. And there are no pay on the gates either. So you can listen. I follow P&E. Johnny Breeze and David Buchanan are in the commentary box. Build-up starts at 2:30. Kickoff is 3 o'clock. Right, let's get back into the chat now with Paul Gallagher. He's reminisced about his time at Stoke City. Now it's time to look back over 2021. Some ups, some downs for North End and for Galley. But we'll start, I think the only place we can start really is chatting about Trevor Hemmings, who sadly passed away in October of 2021. And for Galley and many of us, it was tough to take.
Yeah, it was such a shock. All the players, all the staff, devastated. He was always in and around the training ground. Obviously, times were different, obviously with the COVID, but I've seen him a few times in through the COVID when it passed a little bit. But But what a great man. You can see his love for Preston North End. Myself, everything he'd done for me, my family. He'd come into the box with my family, he'd sit, talk to him on a regular basis. And I got on really well with him. And I think everyone at Preston North End should really appreciate the stuff that Mr. Hemmings and his family do for the club. It's incredible. And like I said before, through the pandemic, he made sure everyone was fine, everyone would be paid, everyone's job was safe and stuff like that. So it's a real credit to him and his family. And it was just a devastating loss for obviously the club. But his family will remain and keep the club going forward. And that's appreciated.
Yeah, well said, Paul. From a personal perspective, in 2021, obviously you retired from playing football. Is there any parts of you now that are missing that? When you get out with the lads and you're doing the stuff, do you think, I want to be building up for a game on Saturday playing myself?
Well, that's all I've ever known for 20 years. So, yeah, people ask me this question all the time. Do you miss it? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, because you've done it that long. And if you're passionate about something that you want to do, which is coaching, you take that next step and you go with it. But you go out on the grass and you see the ball out there, you want to have a touch and show people, listen, I can still play a bit. But yeah, 2021 was obviously a weird season because obviously the COVID. One thing I did say, I'd love to play in front of the fans one more time just to show that appreciation. And for me, football's nothing without the fans. They play a massive part in any sport. And I felt myself it's difficult to play in front of empty stadiums. If anyone tells you it was easy, I think they'd be lying. I used to thrive off the atmosphere, even sometimes getting a bit of stick or stuff like that. That's all part and parcel of football, and that's something that I really missed. And 2021, like I said, I wish I could have played in front of the detail one more time, but it wasn't to be. And I look back on my career as I said, as a really good one.
I've seen you on the training ground still. I reckon you could still cut it. If that registration needs to be just signed in the window, it could happen. Couldn't happen.
You see me in small areas. That picture. But you try and keep yourself in good shape as well. Like I said, you've done it for 20 years. It's part of your routine. So I still with the gym and stuff like that while I'm running because you want to keep yourself in good shape. But join in now and then and still feel as good as ever. But like I just said to you, if you open the pitch up and make up the big areas, when you start to turn and start to run back, you'll start to feel it.
I'll tell you what, we could get a full house at Deepdale for you doing a concert with the guitar.
Well, I'll take a few more lessons, but that's something as well, just a hobby. Obviously, you have time on your hands, and how I made time, I don't know, because I've got 3 kids, so it was time. I just fancied doing it, and it's something I stuck with, and I enjoy doing it just to relax, really.
We should end the season with that, with a Paul Gallagher tribute day, and then you can come out, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Gallagher, and out you come.
We'll say that to him.
You're going quiet on that one, Gallagher. You're not.
If it would be successful, then it might be.
Deal. Just in terms of success, you were successful, we've said, at many things on the pitch. That's why North End fans voted you the player of the decade for the decade that we've just left now. Free kicks, set pieces, a big part of your game, as much as the pass and everything. Can you bring that now to the current lads? Do you spend time with them, sort of talking them through how you do it?
Yeah, you can. We work on certain set players. So obviously you've seen the one at Barnsley, it worked perfectly. It was interesting because the manager, I said to the manager, I think we scored it, this is going to work. And obviously it did. So it's something me and DJ used to do over the years. I think I scored against Hull doing it. But then obviously with all the data, people can look at video analysis and see what you're doing. So you have to try and flip it up and work it that way. But I always say to obviously Ben White and people like that, right, let's practice a few free kicks, practice a few points. Just get used to repetition. When I was at Stoke, I worked with manager Sven, who obviously worked with David Beckham at England. And after every training session, he used to take notes, 10 free kicks, 3 penalties, get used to your routine. And it came second nature. You go into a game thinking, I'm going to score it. And I think when I was at Leicester, I scored quite a few free kicks that season. And walking and standing over the ball, I felt comfortable for this goal. And I think my teammates felt that as well because they see me do it on a regular basis in training and in games. So anytime we got a penalty or a free kick, they come over and say, you're going to score this. And they have confidence in me to do it. So it's all about repetition and repeating what you're doing, your craft and your skill and whatever it takes for you to be in the team. Do something that no one else can do and make it your craft. And that's what I did. And hopefully someone in our team now sees me, obviously gone out of the team. This is something I'll practice and do. And Ben White is starting to do it now. obviously Ryan Ledson starting to take corners and stuff like that. So if I can help them along the way, that's something I want to do. That's my job, and yeah, I'll try to the best of my abilities.
You mentioned Sven there. I know he talked particularly highly of you when he was your boss as well. You've had 3 different bosses over the last 12 months. Is that what sort of challenges does that bring when something like that happens?
Yeah, it's obviously when a manager loses a job, it's difficult. But another manager comes in, and as a young coach, I'm only learning. I'm learning off different managers and different. Mike Marsh comes in, and I'm learning off him. He's a great guy, and for me, you see different ideas, and that's where I want to learn and see how they conduct themselves, how they work. And for me, the new manager coming in, he's been excellent. Straight from the word go, he made it clear. This is what I want. This is what I want for my staff, like I said previously, and that's all you want. You want to know your clear path, what I'm doing. This is what we're doing. This is how we're playing, and everyone buys into that. And obviously, you've interviewed the manager. He's got great personality. He's easy to talk to. And even before that, even when I was playing, I knew this was going to be the next step going into coaching. And manager prior to that, obviously said that to me: go and manage the under-16s, do little bits, get your feet in, and I enjoyed doing that for 2 years. And even like Mr. Hemmings, Peter Ridsdale, people like that, the club have always been good to me in terms of this is where we see your next path, and that's really good to know that the club want you to go in that direction. And I've really enjoyed that. And like I say, working with the new people, new manager Mike Marsh, people I'm learning, so it's great for me.
I was going to say that in terms of if there is a positive to take, obviously nobody wants to see anybody go, and if someone does go, it's because we're not doing great. But that you can pick all the good bits that Alex had, that Frankie had, that Ryan has, that Marshy has, and all those bits and pieces.
You do, because as a player you do that. So you play for many managers, and you always remember stuff, the good bits that they did, and you think, I'll keep that. So as a coach going forward, that's probably the same with managers you work with. Okay, I like that, yeah. And other coaches you work with, stuff like you're always learning on the job. And I really enjoyed that in the last, obviously, few weeks, managers coming in, seeing different ideas, different ways of working. It's been really good, and long may that continue. And like I say, just looking forward to getting back to playing games and hopefully trying to get to that table. Because you see that the division's so close. You know, if you go on and win a few games, neighbours down the road in Blackburn have gone on and won so many games on the bounce, and they end up as close as they can to the top. So why can't anyone else do it? It's such a tight division. Anyone can beat anyone. You see that on a regular basis, and that's why it's the most entertaining league probably in the world, because you go into a game not knowing what's going to happen, and that's entertainment, and that's why all the fans love it.
And that, as they say, is that. Goodbye 2021. Thank you so much for all your kind messages and some of your not so kind messages. We've taken them all on board, and we hope that 2022 here at the Weekend Warm-Up will be even better, unless you've thought it's been rubbish, and then it will be less bad, is maybe how we'll say it. So, votre santé, merci beaucoup, and other languages that I've failed to master. Should old acquaintances never be forgot, whatever it is. Happy New Year too. Cheers. Don't forget to subscribe, like. I still have no idea I don't even know where I am. All the very best. See you in 2022. Oh, for one last time, come on, you Whites!